Good morning. Thank you, Shirley. It's an amazing event, and I'm really privileged for being here, and kol hakavod to Yashar L'Chayal. I came from Israel. Actually, I just landed in Kennedy Airport. A place where terrorism did not come to a halt. It's not reported here in New Jersey or elsewhere in the United States. You have other troubles to take care of, like Obamacare and others. But there is no day goes by, and the Palestinians are trying to smuggle inside Israel exclusivists, terrorists, through the fence and others. Every day, they're shooting missiles towards us. It's amazing. We are the only community in the world that suffers missiles attacks against us every single day and does nothing about it. Hezbollah in the north is planning another war against us. Just 2 months ago, they stabbed a soldier sleeping on the bus. And there is no end in sight. The reason is that the Palestinian terror organization think that they finally found the key that will destroy the Jewish state and will drive us from our land. The governments of Iran, Syria, Saudi Arabia are pouring millions and millions of dollars into the hands of the Palestinian terror organizations in order to keep the pot boiling and to make sure that more and more Jewish life will be lost. In the past 10 years, our organization, Shurat Hadin, Israel Law Center, has represented hundreds of terror victims in lawsuits and legal actions against the terror organizations and their financial patrons in order to fight back. We have cases against Hamas, Islamic Jihad, PLO, Syria, Iran, Palestine Authority, North Korea, banks that are providing financial services to organizations, taking these lawless regimes, taking these lawless organizations into the court of law. And I will tell you how we did it and where we're standing today. During the Intifada, there were Arab banks and European banks that ran a reward program in favor of families of suicide bombers, which went like that. If you were a father or a mother of a suicide bomber, if you were a child of a suicide bomber, you could have gone to the Hamas headquarters in Gaza, get a letter from them proving that you are a father, a mother, or a child of a suicide bomber. Take the letter to the branch of the Arab bank in Gaza, show it to the bank manager, and the bank manager will give you a reward of many thousands of dollars. Ads were published all over the Arab world. If you want to support your brothers in the Palestine Authority, if you want to help the Shaheed, the martyrs, donate money to specific bank accounts in Gaza. People in Saudi Arabia knew that if they donate money to specific bank accounts in Gaza, they can go back home, sit in their living rooms, watch Al Jazeera TV showing the ambulance who's taking away the bodies of the dead and the injured in Jerusalem. These banks could have continued with this reward program until today, unless they made a little mistake. They ran this program by having branches in New York and New Jersey. We saw that and realized that there is American jurisdiction over the banks. Along with American attorneys, we filed a lawsuit against these banks on behalf of families of terror victims that were killed or injured by Hamas attacks, seeking over $5 billion compensations. The banks fought back. They filed motion to dismiss the case. They raised allegations of bank secrecy, but all their allegations were denied, and we just finished a discovery stage where the court ordered them to turn over into our hands all the documentation of the transactions that they did from the beginning of the Intifada. And there is a paper trail that proves that those banks gave money to the families of the suicide bombers knowingly and intentionally. The banks will have to compromise, or we'll take them to trial, and it's going to be a jury trial. We'll take these cases against the banks until the end because we can win the cases. We'll take it until the end because we owe it to the terror victims who deserve justice. And Let me tell you about one of them, Hannah Nachumberg and her family. Hannah Nachumberg is a young woman from New York who lived in Israel that in August 2001 decided to take her family to eat pizza in the Sbarro pizza place in Jerusalem. Shortly after she rented the restaurant, a suicide bomber from the Hamas, wearing explosive vests, entered the restaurant and blew himself up. Everybody remember this suicide bombing. Everybody remember the famous sign of the Sbarro pizza place lies down on the floor and around it all the dead and the injured. Everybody remember where it happened. It happened in the intersection between King George Street to Jaffa Street, the heart of the commercial zone in Jerusalem. Hannah Nachumberg did not get killed in the attack. A metal pin entered her head and lined in her brain. She went into irreversible coma. She was hospitalized in Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem. And after many months, when the doctors saw there was no improvement in her situation, she was moved to a medical center in Israel. She is staying there until this day. Every day, her parents come to the hospital, sit near her bed, and pray. I've seen photos of Hannah's daughter, 5-year-old Sarah, dressed up in Purim costume, coming to show her mother how she dressed up in Purim that year. I've seen photos of Hannah's brother, dressed up in his tuxedo wedding suit, coming to share with his sister his great day. Every single day, her parents come to the hospital, enter her room, sit near her bed, and pray. On behalf of Hannah Nachumberg and the rest of the families of the terror victims, we'll take these cases until the end. The cases are not over yet, but the banks already changed the way they were doing businesses. Not only the European or Arab banks. This lawsuit sent shockwave throughout the international banking system that no bank agreed anymore to open bank accounts to designated terror organizations like Hamas, like Islamic Jihad, like PLO. No bank agrees to provide financial services to Islamic charities without making sure with the Israeli consulate, with the Israeli security forces, if they're kosher or not. And no bank agrees to provide financial services to terror zones like South Lebanon, like Gaza. There is no banking system in these places. There is no banking system in Gaza. This is why you see them smuggling money into Gaza in suitcases through the tunnels. And that causes them a great deal of harm because they need to bring hundreds of millions of dollars into the Gaza Strip. They don't need it only for the missiles, the guns, for the bullets. It costs a lot of money. But they mainly need it to control the population. They are acting among civilians. And in order to keep shooting missiles towards Israel from their backyards, they have to provide the population with free food, free education, free social services, free medical services, to gain back their loyalty, to continue acting terrorism against Israel from the Gaza Strip. They need to maintain the military. Yes, they have soldiers. They don't wear uniforms, but they have tens of thousands of people who are waiting for the day to be called to carry out attacks against Israel. And until this day, they are on payroll, month after month after month. They have thousands of prisoners who are sitting in the Israeli jails. Some of them are for 60 life sentences, 70 life sentences. And these prisoners getting a salary, $10,000 each month. And they have to build their tunnels. In the beginning, they built the tunnels from Gaza to Egypt. Now they're building it from Gaza into Israel. Very sophisticated, complex tunnels. In order to have all this infrastructure, they need to bring hundreds of millions of dollars into the Gaza Strip. They cannot do it with suitcases through the tunnels. regularly meet with the intelligence agencies in Israel, and they all tell me the same thing. If you cut the funding, you can cut the terrorism. If you stop the flow of the money, you stop the flow of the terrorism. The terror organizations need the funds, they need the money, they need the facilities. They cannot do without it.